Good morning, children, and welcome to the EVS2 class. So, how are you all? I hope you are all fine. So, shall we start the class? So, children, we were doing the lesson, the Western Desert, isn't it? And what did we do in our last class? Do you remember? Okay, let's do a quick recap of what we have done in our last class. Children, in our last class, so this is the lesson that we are doing, the Western Desert, and in our last class we did about the features of the Thar Desert. What are the features of the Thar Desert? Okay, and number 2 we did about the various landforms of the Thar Desert. So what are the features of the Thar Desert? The first feature is that the winds carried sand from the different places and deposited in the Thar Desert, and the Thar Desert took not one day, not hundred of days, but hundred of years, but thousands of years to be formed. Then number 2, the various landforms. What are the various landforms we studied? We studied about oases and sand dunes. Okay, one more thing in the features of the Thar Desert. The second feature was what? We studied about the hill station, Mount Abu. Okay, though Thar Desert is a warm place, but still it has, what it has? It has a hill station. Isn't that unique, children? Okay, so shall we proceed with the today's lesson? Okay, what is today's lesson, children? Today's topic, first, the climate of the Thar Desert. Okay, and what is the first point? It remains hot throughout the year. So throughout the year there is summer season, there is no winter season. But number 2, during summers what happens? Days are very hot and nights are cool. During summer what happens? The days are hot and nights are cold. And during winters, nights are warm, days are warm and nights are very cold. Okay. And scanty or no rainfall. There is no rainfall at all. Okay, scanty means little or no rainfall in the desert. So these are the 4 main features. So though winter is there, but what happens? The days are warm and nights are very cold. Similarly, in the summers also, days are very hot and nights are cold. Okay, so days are generally very hot and at night it is very cold, whether it's in summer also, whether it's in winter also, and it remains hot throughout the year. And then it has scanty or no rainfall at all, very little rainfall. So most of the year, time of the year, the summer season is there, but only for 1 or 2 months the winter season is there. Okay, children, so now let's move to the next topic. It is, you can find it in, I hope you all have taken out your textbook and you're following with me. So this is in the next page and it's given, why is it hot in the Thar Desert? So why is it hot in the Thar Desert? It's a very good question. So it's given, the Thar Desert is covered with sand and rocks. Sand heats up fast. It also cools down very quickly. Hence, during the days, the sand becomes very hot. Therefore, the desert becomes very hot. As night falls, the sand cools down quickly, so nights are a lot cooler. We all know the Thar Desert is made up of sand and rocks. And you know, children, a unique feature of sand is what? When sun rays fall on them, it heats up very fast. And also, it cools down very quickly. So what happens when the day starts, the sand starts to heat up because of the rays of the sun. Okay, and during noon it is the hottest. Okay, the sun is it becomes very hot. So the whole of the Thar Desert also becomes very hot, and as night falls, the sand cools down very quickly, so nights are a lot cooler. Okay, it's very cool at night. Our next topic, we have, why does the Thar Desert receive scanty rainfall? Now, why does the Thar Desert receive scanty rainfall? This is also a very good question. The rain-bearing winds enter the Thar Desert from the western side of the country. Okay, the winds that carry rains enter the Thar Desert from the western side of the country, and once they enter, there is no mountain range or hills to block these winds. So what happened? In fact, they travel parallel to the Aravalli hills with nothing to stop them. these winds do not stop over the Thar Desert. Instead, they pass over, causing very little or no rainfall. Now, children, we all know rain is caused by winds, okay, which carry water vapor in them. Okay, the rain bearing winds which enter the Thar Desert from the western side of the country. That means it enters from the western part of the country. So what happens once they enter, there is no mountain range or hills to block this. We know there is no much bigger mountain range or hills to block these winds. So what happens when they enter, they travel parallel to the Aravalli Hills. Okay, if Aravalli Hills would have been there, okay, it would have struck the Aravalli Hills and then there would have been rain. But what happens, Aravalli Hills is in such a position that the winds, they travel parallel to the Aravalli Hills. So there is nothing to stop them, and these winds, they do not stop over the Thar Desert. Instead, they pass over, causing very little or no rain. Since there is nothing to stop them, okay, there is no mountain, there is no hill to stop them, what happens, these rain bearing winds, they pass through the Thar Desert, and these winds, they cross the state of Rajasthan, and they go to some other place where they struck a mountain, and then these rain bearing winds causes rain in those places. So this is why there is no rain in Rajasthan. Okay, very little rainfall in Rajasthan, but in other surrounding places of Rajasthan there is rainfall. So is it clear to you? Okay, children, so let's see what is our new words. Our new words are scanty, rain bearing, block and parallel. You will study, children, what will you study? You will study the spellings and word meanings. Okay, I'll upload in the Google Classroom. Then our next thinking question, this also I'll upload in the Google Classroom. You will have to write it on your own. The Thar Desert receives scanty rainfall. Just as I explained now, explain with reasons the above statement. So the Thar Desert receives scanty, very little rainfall. And what is the reason? You will have to write the reason. It is for 3 marks. Okay. This also I'll upload in the Google Classroom and we'll write it from there. And next we have, pick up the correct statements, sentences which describes the climate of the Great Indian Desert. So you'll have to pick up the correct sentences among these 6 sentences. First, this region receives plenty of rainfall. Then number B, this region receives scanty rainfall. First, plenty of rainfall. So which is correct? You'll have to pick up. Number C, during summers days are very cool and nights are hot. And during summers days are very hot and nights are cold. You'll have to write that one. Then during winters, you'll have to choose the sentences from these 6 sentences. During winters, days are warm and nights are very cold. And during winters, days are cold and nights are very warm. So you'll have to choose from these 6 sentences, the 3 sentences which describe the climate of the Thar Desert. So this also I'll upload in the Google Classroom. You'll write it in the correct. You'll pick up the 3 sentences and write the climate of the Thar Desert. Next we have, children, the homework. And what is the homework? The homework question is, why is it hot in the Thar Desert? Explain with reasons. This also, children, is for 3 marks. You will write it down in the Google Classroom and you will submit. So children, this is all for today's class. So what did we do today? We did, children, today about the 3 very important topics, and that is, first we studied about the climate of the Great Indian Desert. What is the climate? It remains hot throughout the year. During summers, days are very hot and nights are cool. During winter, days are warm and nights are very cold. And lastly, there is scanty, that means little or no rainfall. Then we studied, why is it hot in the Thar Desert? Since it's covered with sand and rocks, and sand can become very hot quickly and also very cold means it can absorb heat very quickly and it becomes very cold also. So because of that, during daytime the Thar Desert is very hot, but at the same time at night it's very cold. And lastly, which topic did we study? We studied why does the Thar Desert receive scanty rainfall. Yes, why does the Thar Desert receive scanty rainfall? Because the wind which carries the water, okay, which carries the water vapor, and which the rain causing winds, they enter the state of Rajasthan from western side, and since there is no hills to stop them, and when rain bearing winds they struck a mountain or hill, then they cause rain in the nearby region. But since there is no mountain or hill which can obstruct these rain bearing winds, what happens, it crosses over the Thar Desert and gives rain to other areas instead of giving rain to the Thar Desert. So children, I hope it's very much clear to you. Okay, so children, we shall stop till here. You read whatever I have explained, you go through it. In the next class we'll meet again. Till then, have a good day and bye bye.